Let's talk about time. Some days feel like throwaway lines in a much larger story. Forgettable. Then there are days that are not just dates on a calendar, but lines drawn in the sand. July 18, 2025 is one of those lines. This isn't about some Hollywood prediction. It's a quiet truth for those whose inner work has taught them to listen past the noise. When the divine whispers that a reckoning is coming, it's not for shock value. It's a navigational update, offered only to those who have cleared their own internal frequency to receive it. Your world screams for your attention. It sells you ambition, anxiety, and endless distractions. It's a current designed to pull you away from your own center, the only place where true power lies. Many people are looking for a miracle. They expect the sky to part, for trumpets to sound, but the most profound shifts don't announce themselves with spectacle. Sometimes, truth arrives not as a bang, but as an undeniable inner knowing that says, the time is now. The signal before the change is not a warning to be feared. It is an invitation to be accepted. But you cannot accept an invitation you haven't seen. This isn't about hearing with your ears. It's about sensing with your entire being. And to do that, you must become empty of what you think you know. Most people will miss the meaning of July 18 because their cup is already full. It's full of opinions, grievances, and desires. You can't pour wisdom into a cup that's overflowing with ego. This is the great secret of the masters and sages. They understand that clarity comes not from adding more, but from taking away. Real strength isn't found in what you accumulate, but in what you are willing to shed. A deep spiritual preparation must happen in quiet moments. A diver doesn't learn to breathe underwater during the storm, they master it in the calm. In the same way, the spirit prepares for its own evolution long before the world notices a change. Most people believe transformation is a sudden event, but the kind of change that redefines a soul is a quiet process. It's the small, daily choices, choosing reflection over reaction, choosing inner alignment over outer approval, choosing truth over comfort. These aren't just habits, they are declarations. They are signals to the universe that you are ready for a new reality. And what is that reality? It's the unfolding of your destiny, the one that's been patiently calling you. That call is not a shout, because force is for the weak, gentle insistence is for the aligned. A ship's captain doesn't learn about the sea during a hurricane. They study the tides and currents for years. Their preparation is invisible, silent. The same applies to you. You are being primed for a vibrational shift. This change will not ask for your belief. It won't negotiate. It will just be. And in that moment, it will not reward the loudest or the most popular. It will elevate those who are grounded. Imagine an archer who has practiced for a decade. When they hit the target, people call it a gift. They don't see the thousands of silent mornings spent perfecting their aim. On July 18, the world will see some people navigate the chaos with a calm certainty, while others crumble. The difference will be simple. One group was already aligned with what was coming. They weren't waiting for the storm to tell them to find their footing. They were already standing on solid ground. The world demands evidence before it gives its trust, but the path of the soul is not about waiting for proof. It's about becoming the proof. When God sends a message, it's not for your entertainment. It's a call to action. It's an assignment to strip away every mask, every story, every attachment that isn't who you truly are. The signal before the shift is an act of grace. It's a chance to tune your instrument before the concert begins. You don't need a cataclysm to believe. You only need to honor the deep, persistent pull in your spirit. And this is why quiet practice is sacred. Not because it's passive, but because in that stillness, you can perceive what the chaotic mind cannot. Some truths are only available to a settled heart. So, you must train, not in how loudly you can argue your point, but how deeply you can feel the truth. Ask yourself this when the world pushes you. Do you shatter or do you stand firm? When fear whispers lies, do you believe them or do you breathe through them? When everyone rushes one way, do you get swept up or do you stand still and consult your own inner compass? The ones who understand this know that life is not about being pushed around. It's about being anchored. But you cannot be anchored in truth if you have not first built your foundation in stillness. Many are adrift, tossed by every emotion, every headline, every fear. They live as effects, not causes. And when the real waves come, they will look up and cry, "Why wasn't I ready?" And the truth will be, you were told. But the message came as a feeling, a knowing, a quiet intuition. And you were too busy to listen. Discipline is not a cage. It is the focused lens through which you see reality. An athlete trains every day, not because the championship is certain, but because readiness is their state of being. If you wait until the world is in chaos to find your inner peace, it is too late. The work is now, in how you get out of bed, in the words you choose, in the focus you maintain. These are not small things. They are the steel and stone of your inner fortress. And when the great winds blow, only the fortresses built on alignment will remain. This quiet call also demands humility. So many are full of spiritual knowledge, but empty of spiritual practice. Knowing the path is not the same as walking it. Speaking of peace is not the same as embodying it. The divine call is received not by the mind that knows, but by the spirit that lives. This requires letting go of the need to be impressive, the need to win arguments, the need to be validated. All that is static, and static blocks the signal. When July 18 arrives, everything that has been hidden in plain sight will become clear. But for those who trained in silence, there will be no surprise, no chaos, just a deep breath and the next right step. Why? Because their map is internal, not external. Their power comes from alignment, not from circumstances. Their peace comes not from a lack of challenges, but from the presence of their core truth. And that has always been the point purpose. The divine isn't calling you to a spectacle, it's calling you to a higher version of yourself. But you cannot climb to a new level while holding on to the baggage of the old one. You want freedom, but you cling to your cage of comfort. You cannot rise while you're anchored to what is draining you. This quiet call is an invitation to release it all: the anger, the blame, the old wounds, the worn-out narrative. Only then are you light enough to ascend. So, don't look for signs, become the sign. Don't listen for a voice, become the quiet space where it can be heard. Walk not by what you see, but by what you know to be true in your bones. If you feel that shift inside, that deep rumble that says things are changing, listen. Take it seriously. Begin the work. Anchor yourself in your breath. Anchor yourself in discipline. Anchor yourself in truth. The signal before the shift is not an event to watch, it is a frequency to become. And those who become it will not be shaken by the storm. They will be the calm at its center, held by a force far greater than the wind, the undeniable power of the divine. True alignment doesn't begin when chaos erupts. It begins when your soul senses the current changing. What the distracted mind dismisses, the tuned-in spirit has already registered. There's a world of difference between being a leaf tossed in the wind and being a rock in the riverbed. The leaf is in constant reaction, always unstable, always catching up, bewildered by every change. But the rock remains grounded. It doesn't need to know the weather forecast. It is anchored in its own being. That restless energy you felt, that sensation that something is culminating, that's not just anxiety. That's your inner guidance system. It's your own spirit saying, it's time to secure your footing. The events of July 18th, 2025 are not an isolated storm. They are a tidal wave of consequences, truths, and energies that have been gathering force for a long time. The world will see it as a sudden crisis, but the centered soul knows that spiritual laws have been at work all along. Every choice you made, every corner you cut, every act of integrity you chose has been measured. The universe is a perfect accountant, and the bill comes due on days like this, not as punishment, but as a universal rebalancing. You reap what you have sown. You become what you have practiced. You withstand what you have prepared for. Readiness is not a goal, it's a way of living. The people who stand strong on that day won't be those who have a sudden epiphany that morning. It it will be the ones who walked the thankless path of inner work, the ones who mastered their thoughts when no one was there to applaud, the ones who chose kindness in the face of bitterness, the ones who protected their inner light when the world offered the comfort of darkness. These are the people who prepared, not out of fear of an event, but out of respect for themselves. They knew you don't learn to swim when the ship is sinking. You must already be a swimmer. And how do you do this? Not by hoarding more, but by letting go. Not by building bigger walls, but by fortifying your own center. Many are caught in a race. They chase money, status, followers, approval. But what is that worth? When the frequency of this planet rises, what good are your trophies if your own soul feels like lead? You cannot cheat spiritual physics. When the tide comes in, only the buoyant things will rise. You must let go of the dense weight of your past, the resentment, the bitterness, the pain you've been nursing. That is the real work. That is the ultimate preparation. Because when the energetic curtain is pulled back, and it will be, everything false will be exposed. You can't fake serenity. You can't fake self-control. You can't fake being centered. On that day, your energetic signature will tell your story, not your words. The world reacts to drama, to fear, to the news cycle. It's always late to the party. The aligned spirit, however, does not react. It prepares. It understands that divine timing is based on resonance, not on a human schedule. When the voice of God said things would change, it was not referring to your calendar. It was referring to the readiness of your soul. There are moments in your life that you do not choose. They choose you. This coming moment is not about dreaming. It's about being. It's not for the person who hopes. It's for the soul who acts. You must look at your life honestly. Am I still justifying my inaction? Am I still looking for someone to save me? Am I still arguing with the truth? The time for debate is over. The time for being is here. For some, preparation is finally choosing quiet over noise. For others, it's walking into the fire of their own buried pain. For some, it is cutting ties with people and situations that are energy vampires. For others, it is extending forgiveness to someone they swore they never would. These are not minor adjustments. They are seismic shifts within you. They are what build an inner world that stands firm when the outer world shakes. And it is going to shake, not to punish you, but to liberate you, to show you who you really are. And in that great revealing, there will be two kinds of people, those who are terrified by what they see, and those who have been training for it. A seed in the ground does not panic in the darkness. It trusts the process. It knows that the darkness is not an end, but a necessary passage to the light. Your own preparation has been just like that, happening in quiet darkness. Perhaps you couldn't explain why you felt the need to withdraw, why shallow pleasures lost their taste, why you craved authenticity over approval. This is not you being anti-social. This is you aligning. It's the core of you responding to the coming energy. It's as if your soul has been preparing for a journey your mind is only now beginning to grasp. And that's fine. Trust your soul to lead. The mind can be the passenger. Many will try to cram for the test. They'll binge watch gurus, force new habits, try to buy a feeling of security. But you cannot cram alignment. You can't speed, run inner peace. You can't fake readiness. These things are forged in the quiet furnace of time. And if you've already been on this path, even if you feel imperfect, know this: you are ahead of the curve. Keep going. Keep building. Because the energy that is coming cannot be contained by a version of you that refuses to grow. This shift is not concerned with who you say you are. It only cares about the truth of your being. And that truth is either shackled or it is free. The work of preparation is the act of unshackling it. Every master sharpens their tools long before they are needed, not from anxiety, but from deep respect for their craft. The spiritual master is not waiting for a crisis to get serious. They are in a constant state of readiness, not because they expect war, but because real peace is a byproduct of strength. On July 18, the relationship between peace and strength will be tested on a global scale. Those without inner peace will be consumed by the chaos. Those without inner strength will be shattered by the intensity. You must train both now. Train your mind to find stillness. Train your heart to respond with grace. Train your will to embody discipline. Train your soul to trust the process. Forget the notion that you can put this off. Time is an illusion, but the present moment is a gateway. In this presence, everything is possible. Your future is not waiting for your permission. It is waiting for your participation. You do not have to be a flawless saint. You just have to be authentically present. And from that presence, you build. You build the habits that feed your spirit, the boundaries that guard your energy, the daily practices that keep you tuned. These are the foundations you will be standing on when the ground beneath the world gives way. And what about those who laugh this off? Who call it fear-mongering and say, it's just another Tuesday? They will be the most surprised. Not because the signs weren't there, but because they chose not to see. Denial is not a shield, it is a blindfold. And when truth reveals itself, it doesn't care if you're prepared, it just is. If you have trained, you will see a great awakening. If you have not, you will see a great collapse. This isn't a judgment from God, it is the natural consequence of your choices. So prepare not with fear, but with love. Prepare not because the world is ending, but because your true life is beginning. Prepare not for the sake of survival, but for the sake of your soul's greatest expression. There is a magnificent power that unlocks when you are aligned. There is a deep stillness that arrives when you are ready. There is a profound peace that settles in when you stop resisting and start preparing. This peace is not found out there in the noise. It is built in here, in your practice, in your breath, in your choice, in your silence. Do not look to the world for your security. Security is not a place, it is an internal state. It is how you show up in the midst of turmoil. It is how you conduct yourself when you think no one is watching. It is the hard choices you make when the easy path is available. Every time you choose your higher self today, you are preparing for the test of tomorrow. Every time you choose discipline, you earn the right to rise with the new energy. Every time you say no to a distraction, you are saying yes to your own evolution. You have two ways to face July 8 as a victim of circumstance or as a conscious co-creator. The first path is confusion. The second is clarity. And that clarity is not born from knowing the future. It is born from mastering your present. The energy is already on its way. The current is rising. You cannot see it, but your spirit feels it. Trust that feeling. Do not run from it. Do not anesthetize it. Let it be the force that guides you to your own inner training. Let it be the quiet voice that reminds you, the work you do in silence is never forgotten. It is compounded. It is recorded. It is valued. And when the world starts to shake, you will stand firm. Because you weren't waiting for the world to give you answers. You had already become the answer. You weren't reacting. You were ready. You weren't looking for shelter. You were the shelter. There's a fundamental misunderstanding today about how real change works. Many assume that wanting something, saying affirmations, and writing down goals is enough. That these acts somehow put the universe in their debt. But the sacred laws of energy don't respond to wishes. They respond to resonance. The divine doesn't listen to your words. It reads your energetic signature. When God said everything changes on July 18, 2025, it was not a promise to those who simply hope for the best. It was a heads up for those who have been tuning their very being, in thought, in habit, in action, to the frequency of truth. The fatal error is believing that your intention is your reality. But the universe doesn't operate on what you want. It operates on who you are. You can declare your desire for peace while feeding internal wars. You can ask for wealth while operating from a place of lack. You can demand a new life but refuse to change your old habits. This is the disconnect. This is why the divine signal is only received clearly by those whose daily actions, private thoughts, and core beliefs all vibrate in harmony. That harmony isn't achieved by thinking about it. It's built through relentless alignment. Alignment isn't a performance. It's not a spiritual costume you wear. It is an invisible integrity that is felt by the entire cosmos. You can't lie to energy. You can't fake your vibration. You are either in tune with the truth of your soul, or you are not. And when the energetic floodgates open on July 18, 2025, the universe will not care what you wished you were. It will only amplify what you actually are. That is the great unbending law. Energy amplifies what is, not what is wished for. Your frequency is your fate. The state of your inner world is your future. That's why the real preparation is not about praying more, but about becoming more. If you claim to want serenity, but consistently choose drama, your signature is chaos. If you say you're ready for more, but live like you are not enough, your signature is scarcity. If you call yourself evolved but engage in judgment, blame, and gossip, your signature is dissonance. These are not minor flaws, they are energetic fractures. And when a powerful wave of divine energy washes over the world, it seeks coherence. It amplifies wholeness. It elevates those who are honest, not flawless, but relentlessly honest with themselves. Society cheers for the performer, the strategist, the personality. But the divine elevates the authentic, the aligned, the one who does the work in secret. There's a cosmic formula here. Your thoughts to your words, apply your actions to your reality. If your thoughts say, "I trust the universe," but your words express constant worry, and your actions are born of fear, your reality is one of internal conflict. And no matter how many times you state your good intentions, if your being is at war with itself, your vibration is tuned to static. You will be out of sync with the coming shift. And anything out of sync with a powerful current gets left behind. The earth is not just changing its mind, it is raising its vibration. The new world is not being built for the clever, it's being built for the clear. This is why many who look successful on the outside will be spiritually bankrupt, while many who have been quietly purifying their inner world will rise with an unshakable grace. There is a power to this new energy that only a still heart can manage. There is a truth so high that only a humble spirit can hear it. On July 18, your level of alignment won't be something you can curate for social media. It will be your undeniable reality. For many, this will feel like being naked under a spotlight. When the frequency of truth intensifies, anything built on lies will crumble. This is the great test. It doesn't grade you on your knowledge, it grades you on your embodiment. It won't ask how many spiritual books you read. It will ask, did you live any of it? It won't ask how big your following was. It will ask, how true were you to yourself when no one was watching? It won't care about the volume of your voice. It will measure the stillness of your soul. Alignment is quiet, but its power is absolute. True alignment stands on 3 pillars: ruthless integrity, consistent discipline, and humble surrender. Integrity means you do what you know is right, especially when it's inconvenient. You honor your own soul, even if it disappoints others. You keep your promises, most importantly the ones you make to yourself. Discipline means you choose the necessary over the easy. You get up and do the work when you'd rather stay in bed. You observe your anger instead of becoming it. You are the master of your energy, not its slave. And surrender means you let go of the need to control everything. It is trust in action. You stop fighting the current. You stop demanding your timeline. You align with the greater flow, even when your rational mind can't see the destination. Most people try to muscle their way through life. They try to force reality to bend to their will. But force is friction, flow is power. Your job is to become an open channel through which divine energy can move without obstruction. You must clear the blockages: your ego, your fear, your old resentments, your habit of comparison, your impatience. These are energetic dams. And when the flood of new energy comes, a constricted channel breaks. But when you are aligned, you are like a perfectly crafted instrument, empty of self, pure of intent, and ready for the divine to play its music through you. There is a divine schedule unfolding. A tree does not bloom because it wants to. It blooms when its season arrives. You cannot force your own blooming, but you must nourish your roots. Your roots are your daily discipline. Your roots are your time in silence. Your roots are the small choices you make when the world isn't looking. What you do in private determines how you will stand in public. On July 18, the light will not just shine on the world, it will shine through the world. And it will either illuminate you or expose you. There is no in between. Energy does not compromise. It flows through clarity or it stops at confusion. This is why this very moment is your practice ground, not when you're feeling inspired. Now, the law is unbreakable. You meet life at the level of your being, not your wanting. You are prepared according to your actions, not your words. You will be defined not by what you say you are, but by who you have become. You have to ask yourself, have I become a vessel that is strong enough to hold this new energy? Or am I still expecting the world to change for me while I stay the same? The divine current is not waiting for you, it is waiting for your readiness. The power has always been there. The question is, can you contain it? Are you a worthy vessel, or is your power constantly leaking out through mindless habits, a scattered mind, and knee-jerk emotional reactions? Your ability to hold a high-frequency energy is your spiritual adulthood. And spiritual adulthood is not measured in years. It's measured in awareness and self-responsibility. It's measured by your commitment to choose evolution over ego, time and time again. On July 18, the cosmic rhythm will quicken. Some will rise because they are in sync with it. Others will shatter because their entire being is out of tune. You must build your inner foundation now, not with ideas, but with actions, not with beliefs, but with breath. You must clean the lens of your perception. You must organize the temple of your soul. You must open the heart to let the truth enter, because divine energy doesn't flow into chaos, it flows into order. Not the order of rigid control, but the sacred order of alignment. This alignment demands radical, compassionate honesty. You must look at every part of your life and ask, where am I out of tune? Where am I still performing? Where am I still choosing comfort over courage? The answers might be difficult, but they are the keys to your freedom. You cannot fix a problem you refuse to acknowledge. You cannot align with a truth you refuse to see. But when you do, when you finally look at yourself with clear eyes and love yourself enough to do the work, the universe bends toward you. Not as a reward, but as a recognition of resonance. And this is the ultimate secret. Alignment is not a destination you arrive at. It is a home you return to moment by moment. Every breath is a reset. Every choice is a chance to retune. Like a guitar, you don't just tune it once. You tune it every day with patience, with love, with awareness. Because the quality of your life, the music you make, depends entirely on your tuning. When the sacred day comes, the world won't change you, it will show you. The surge of energy won't create your state of being, it will magnify it. And so, the only work that matters is not to hope, not to worry, but to align. Not in your mind, in your body. Not for an audience, but for your soul. Not to avoid a catastrophe, but to embody a truth. In the end, it will not be your good intentions that see you through the storm. It will be your groundedness. It will be your stillness. It will be your alignment.